Perfect.
Great. Hey, so my name's Kate Bennett, and I work as a research coordinator in the chemistry department at Umeå University. And I want to apologise for there's been a slight change of plan. So it was originally Johan giving a talk, but now instead I'll be giving a short introduction to the new data analytics platform that's being set up at Umeå University called CASP. So first I want to point out a quote given by the Knut och Alice Wallenberg Foundation, which many of you know is a foundation that gives huge amounts of money to researchers in Sweden. So they have noticed that there's a huge shortage at the moment of the expertise needed to analyse the huge amounts of data that's swamping the research community. So this is where we at CASP want to come in to help. So we are a data analytics service at Umeå University, and we're in the early stages of setting up at the moment. And we're also a representative within MBIS. So some of you that have been around at the university for a while may have heard of the old platform called Click. So we are basically an extension of this platform. So we are going to focus primarily on the analysis of non-gene related data, and also to expand the services that that Click offered, which I'll talk a bit about later on. So our main goal is to become the bridge between life science and data science. So what I mean by this is, in life science nowadays, there's so many different platforms that produce huge amounts of data, such as omics, imaging, spectroscopy. And understandably, it can be quite difficult and overwhelming for researchers to know how to interpret this data into a biological context. So that's where we at CASP want to come in to support researchers in converting complex data sets into meaningful biological interpretations using our expertise shown here, which I'll talk a bit more about in detail later on. So that's our overall vision of CASP. But not only do we want to provide the service, we also aim to actually educate researchers so they can go off and use these tools themselves. That's also our main aim. So who are we? So at the moment, we're quite a small group. You'd probably recognize some of these faces from around the university. So there's Johan Trygg, he's the main director, and he's the one that's involved in getting all the funding for the platform. And then there's me, I'll be working as platform manager, research coordinator. And then here's Isabella. So she's been working 20% for the platform. So she's been really valuable in setting the platform up, and she's got huge expertise in the omics area, both the analytical part and the data analytical part also. And she's our collaboration with industry. And then there's Hans Stenlund. So he works 100% for the Swedish Metabolomics Center. So he's also a data scientist. So he has huge expertise in omics, both in developing processing methods and data analytical methods. And it was actually him that saw the need for this through his experience at SMC, the need for this data analysis service. And then there's our key player, David Nilsson. He's the main senior data scientist we have. So he's the one at the moment analysing all the data, and he's got huge expertise in all different types of data analysis methods. And then hopefully, once we get going and we have more customers coming in, we plan to hire another data scientist full-time the end of this year, early next year. And then last but not least, we have our MBIS connection. So this is Jeanette, Joachim, Alison, Nina, who are all bioinformaticians. So what type of support and services can we give? So we could split this up into 3 different sections. So first, there's the packaged and customer specific data analytics services. So we want to attract people from Umeå University, the SLU, and ultimately from outside as well, even from overseas. And we focus on non-gene related data, as I said before, and we can personalize the projects to the customer's needs. And then we also see this requirement maybe for expanded data analytics support for several of the Umeå University platforms, such as the Swedish Metabolomics Center, the Spectroscopy, Imaging and NMR Center. So they produce these huge amounts of data. So we want to come in as the next stage to help be able to analyze and interpret this data in a biological context. And then also we're starting to become involved in collaborative projects also. So what type of help can we give? Where can we jump in to your project? So, so we have lots of expertise in the data analytics, but also we've been involved in many omics projects, particularly metabolomics. So we can actually jump in if needed from day one of your project, and we can help with the experimental design, the sample selection, look at the quality control of the data, to check for any bias in the data, for example. And then we can do both basic and advanced data analysis, help with the biological interpretation, then even help support with the manuscript writing. So these are some of the expertise that we have. For study design, we use design of experiments, quality check of the data. Then the multivariate data analysis will be a huge part of this platform. So we can do more basic analysis such as PCA to look for general trends in the data, and then more discriminant analysis with the OPLSDA. And then we have more advanced techniques such as O2PLS, where we can compare two different data sets. And then we also do univariate analysis to complement the multivariate, which is often required. And these are some of the other expertise we have. So classification and feature selection, enrichment analysis, hybrid modeling. And then we also plan to go into a lot more deep learning, machine learning techniques. And like I said before, we're also able to help with the biological interpretation, which can be quite difficult. We have really simple programs for the pathway analysis, which can be really helpful. And then we can support at the end with the manuscript writing if needed, especially, for example, the results section, the methods. So how does our workflow look? So if you're interested in having a project with us, the first point of call is to contact the platform managers. That will be me. So I'll give my email at the end of this talk. So you can email with whatever question you have. And then if you are interested in having a project with us, you can fill out this request form. And this will also, we're in the process of publishing a website on the Umeå University webpage. So this will also be available there as a registration form. So this is basically a one-page form, just where you write your expectations, research field, for example. And then we'll set up a meeting, 1 hour meeting with the platform manager and a data scientist and you. So this will be completely free of charge, regardless if we go on with the project or not. And then we'll have an internal discussion within the group to think, is this within our area of expertise? And in some cases, if we feel like we might need external help, for example, with the biological interpretation or certain methods, we can even go outside of our group as well and include somebody else, but this will always be discussed with the customer. Then hopefully we can go ahead with the project, and then a really detailed project plan will be produced, including the quotation. This will be sent out. Then hopefully, if this is agreed on by all, the data scientist will be allocated to this project, and the project will begin. And in the project plan, we will put an estimated timeline for when the project will be delivered, so you know approximately when you will get the results. And throughout the whole of the process, we'll have regular communication, so you know what's happening, so you're not left hanging wondering what's going on. And then once the results are ready, we'll have another meeting and present in PowerPoint presentation, and you'll also get a written report. And then we'll continue with supporting with manuscript writing if that's part of the package. And then after the project's finished, we'll send out, that's when the invoice will be sent and the project will be closed. So I'll just mention a couple of case studies that we've had, so you get an idea of the customers we've had and the interest and the questions that are asked to us. So this is an example when we've acted as like an extension of the Swedish Metabolomics Centre. So a researcher from Lund analysed plasma samples from IBS patients at SMC. He did metabolomics analysis. So he had a huge data table of all the GC-LC data, and he wasn't sure how to interpret this in a way that could understand the effects of his dietary intervention on these patients. So he came to us for help. So we did multivariate data analysis, statistical analysis on both the metabolomics data and the metadata. And this is an example where we also got external support from a group that specializes in nutrition. So this was perfect for the biological interpretation. And this has been successful, and we are in the process of submitting this manuscript now in collaboration with the researcher in Lund. And this is another project we've been involved in. So a researcher from SLU had analysed samples at the spectroscopy unit at Umeå University, and they had data from 2 different analytical platforms, and they wanted to know, can one be used to predict the other? So we used multivariate data analysis, a bit more advanced methods, the O2 PLS. And this was also an example where we actually educated the master's student how he could use the data analysis tools himself, and a teaching course was also given. So he'll be able to go off now and use that for future projects. So that's one of our main goals. So in summary, so we are a data analytics platform at Umeå University. Our main focus is on the analysis of complex data from a wider range of technologies, including but not limited to omics, spectroscopy, imaging, but we're happy to try and analyze any types of data. So just come to us and we can discuss whether it can be done. And our main aim is to provide the missing link that enables your project to go from the data to the completion. So here we are again. So yes, so if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to contact me on this email below, and we'll be happy to answer all your questions. Yep, thank you very much.